Hello and welcome to the Nova Show Real Estate Records. I am Tristan Hammett, your host for today's episode. And today we have the incredible Michael Carter joining us. Michael is a top 500 realtor here in Utah, known for his sharp negotiating skills, cool under pressure demeanor, and deep care for his clients. With a rock-solid reputation in the industry and a track record that speaks for itself, Michael brings both professionalism and personality to every transaction. You're going to love hearing how he built this business and the mindset that keeps him in the top 500 year after year. Hello and welcome, Michael Carter.
Yeah, that was an intro I feel like I did not deserve, but thank you.
You're so welcome. I'm excited to be here. I know this is going to be a fun podcast. I've never met you before today, but I was like searching your Instagram and you just have through our text, I can tell that you're funny. So I know this is going to be a good one. Right?
I like that. Yeah, it better be. I hope so.
I hope so. I know I'm like really like high standards here. I'm just teasing. Okay, so Michael, tell us about yourself. Where are you from? And then we're gonna like fast forward. And how did you get into the real estate world?
Yeah, sure. I was born in Provo. I only lived there until I was 4. And so when I talk about home, like home is Bountiful.
Oh, okay.
And ever since I was like 5, I've just been in Bountiful.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, people kind of laugh too, because like the home I grew up on, I literally just live like 4 streets north of that.
Really?
Yeah. So like
it's the same neighborhood.
Yeah. So like my kids go to the same like elementary school I went to and like all that kind of stuff. So
oh, that's cool.
Kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like it. I'm a Bountiful guy, I guess, through and through.
Okay. Very cool. And then, so how'd you get into the real estate? We're going to fast forward.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do it. So yeah, great. Kind of I don't know. Everyone probably likes to share their story, but I don't know. I guess I'm partial because it's mine, but I think I have a cool story. So, I was a lost little puppy. After school, like high school, I didn't want to go to college or do anything. All I wanted to do was, well, I mean, the hair matches now the rock star days.
Yeah.
I was going to be in a band. We were going to go on tour. I was going to be a rock star. It was going to be awesome.
What kind of music?
The stuff that like makes your ears bleed.
Oh, like heavy metal? Is that what it's called?
I wouldn't say heavy metal, but like if you listen to my music, you might say heavy metal, but I wouldn't say heavy metal. But
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you were going to be in this band tour.
Yeah. And then I ended up meeting my wife relatively young. I had just turned 22, met my wife. We got married like pretty quick. That's like another kind of cool story. And after I met my wife, we kind of had like a honeymoon baby.
Okay.
And so like before our 1-year anniversary, I'm married and I have a kid like the month before our 1-year anniversary. And, my wife and I, we just talked about it a lot and we ultimately decided she was the breadwinner. I was still doing like the band thing and just kind of like doing odd jobs, just like paying my bills and stuff. But we ultimately decided that she was going to be a stay-at-home mom. And I had zero direction, like what I was going to do or even how I was going to provide for my family. That being said, I did eventually kind of give in. I tried to go back to school. I did a couple semesters of college and I hated every second of it. Like that's just, I hate to say it. Like I never was like a really good student. I don't think I had like good student qualities, like studying and, just good habits and things like that. And I just kind of coasted because my parents got divorced when I was in high school. Well, they were separated and then eventually divorced like when I was in high school. And that's actually kind of what leads to the whole thing. Because once my parents got divorced, my mom had to find a job. And someone in our neighborhood actually owned a title company. And she got a job just as the receptionist at a title company. But then fast forward, those years into where I am now, right? Like I'm married, I've got a kid. I'm like, holy crap. Like what am I going to do? Like making $10 an hour, $12 an hour, like is not a salary that's going to, you know,
Pay your mortgage or
pay,
rent.
pay my bills,
Yeah.
like, help raise a family. So I'm like, what am I going to do? And like I said, so I tried the school thing. It just wasn't working. And so still in my rock star days, I had the long hair. I used to have like my nose pierced and stuff too. Um, but my mom she used to just tell me, so at this point, I'm married, I've got a kid. My wife and I had this little condo. And when when we met the realtor that we bought with though, we kind of worked with two or so other realtors like before that. And my old associate broker, was one of the people that we kind of looked in towards some homes with. And my mom would tell me, hey, like I just wrote a check for him today, 5, 10, 15, $20,000. And I'm not going to lie. And since I'm not dropping the name, my wife and I ended up not working with him because we kind of thought he was a goober.
Oh.
But like, I was just like, dude, but like this guy is making in like one check what I make in like a quarter or a month or like 6 months. Because my job that I had at that time, my salary was like $33,000 a year. So that wasn't really paying the bills and stuff. So she called me one night and said, hey, look, I spoke to this realtor, this associate broker. I made an appointment for you to go out with him. Go wash your greasy hair, wear something nice. You're going to go out with some buyers, and I think he's got a listing appointment.
Wow.
So,
to just kind of like shadow and see what you think.
Yeah, I think just, I was just a lost little puppy. And like I said, I'm married with a kid at this time. My wife's staying home. I've got to provide. I needed to find some sort of direction. I was miserable going to school. I didn't enjoy any of that at all. So my mom just thought maybe this would be something that I'd like or that would be good for like my personality. And I was completely turned off. I had no previous experience like with sales or anything like that. But my mom kind of lined all this up. So I was like, okay, like, let's go do it. Like, I'll go do it or whatever. I went out. He had a listing appointment first. We went on that listing appointment, met with the family. And I guess like the work that I was doing at the time also, it just wasn't very fulfilling. It was just really like mundane and like monotonous things.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't really fulfillment. It was just paying my bills. So when I went out on this appointment and saw like how excited these people were, like listening and just like the information that he provided, like it just looked like it felt good. Or even just being like sitting there, like it felt good.
You got excited.
Yeah. Like I was just like that. You get paid doing this, like talking with people and like strategizing with them, like you're saying, and like teaching them and helping them or guiding them through a buying or selling process.
Right.
And it just seemed so much of like an interaction, rather than him trying to sell. And I was like, okay, cool. So that was the first appointment. And then, like I said, then he had a buyer's appointment. We went and we met. It was like these first time buyers. They were probably around like my age at that time, really new, weren't completely sure about it, but he just gave them all of the, like the pertinent information and kind of explained like the whole process. And it's kind of the same thing. Like you could just kind of see how excited they were to be able to start this, and just seeing how he was just like a catalyst or like, cog to like help get them from here to there. It was just different. And we talked about it, like, as we're driving back, it was like a 20 or 30 minute drive. And, I asked him the questions that I had. And, I remember, one of the biggest questions that I just kind of had for him though was like, I mean, it seems like you enjoy what you do, but do you actually enjoy what you do? And he's like, I'll never do anything else.
Yeah, because at that point that was important to you. You were feeling like lost, like you didn't know what to do. You weren't happy at school or your job or anything like that. So that was probably the most important question for you.
Yeah, it was massive because I think that was a thing, and I don't want to like crap on my dad or like my parents and things like that, but maybe even just like that older generation, right? Is like you get out of school or high school, maybe you go to college, get a degree, get a trade or whatever. You find a place that you're going to work and you work there for 40, 50 years until you're retired or you die. And like,
Yeah. And that was actually like the success thing, right? Like you had a salary, you got paid, you had benefits, you had like, and that was like success,
100%.
you know?
Yeah. So, asking him that question and then just hearing the sincerity in his voice of loving what he did. I went home. So what I did is I went home that night. I can't even tell you. I don't even remember how many guitars I had, but just like music gear and stuff, like being like the musician, being the rock band that like I was going to be in. I went home that night. I sold a ton of gear and listed all of it for sale. Took some of the money. I paid off some debt, like put a little bit away, like in savings. And I signed up for the real estate school that night.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was
Kind of like, it's like kind of made me sad because it's like this thought of your dream of like once what was, right? And then you like go and sell most of your things, you know? And then, but you also like turned it into something so amazing that you've built.
well, and we'll make that a happy ending because
Okay.
as I've gone through, I've gone back and I bought a lot more of like those guitars and like that. Like
Yeah.
I've been able to afford that now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like so it's
That's awesome.
it's been cool. So yeah, I went home and I signed up that night and it's
But you got to do whatever it took to get you there because you're like, okay, this is it. This is like what I've got to do. And to make that work, like I have to make some sacrifices. Yeah, it sucks selling my stuff right now,
yeah.
but like this is what I have to do in order to do this. And now I can afford all the guitars I want.
Yeah. I mean, almost all the guitars I want.
Okay, so you play the guitar. Is that are you a singer too or?
Well, I think everyone likes to sing. I love to sing. I'm not I wouldn't say I'm like a great singer, but I love to sing.
Well, good enough that you were going to be in a band and travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got some recordings and stuff. And that's what's saying like I wouldn't say non-conventional, but my forte was more I was the screamer.
And the screamer?
I was the screamer.
Okay, can I go find this online?
Oh, I can
Yeah. Okay.
I can show you multiple.
Okay. I'm down. I'm ready for this. What was the band called?
Which one?
Oh.
There's several. There's a handful I can show you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll have to introduce you to Nick after he was in a band too. But
Well,
I don't think it was like hurt your ears screaming.
That's
So you were
your
the
style of music.
screamer. Okay.
Yeah, I mean I do harmonies. Like I can hold a tune. Like I don't think I'm completely tone deaf.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you get your license, and then how do you go about getting your first deal? And then, oh wait, first, when was this?
Good question. And I want to share this is important, I feel like, to my story too. So I if I can, I want to kind of continue like where we're
Absolutely.
at.
Yeah.
So I signed up for the real estate school. I started doing the school. I'm working simultaneously, right? I've got a kid. And at this time, did I have so when I signed up, so now since we fast forwarded, now I've got 2 kids.
Oh.
So I'm married and I've got 2 kids. We're in a 2-bedroom condo, doing the real estate school, working full time. And I had my boss at the time, so that where I worked, I was salaried at that $33,000 a year, and my boss was kind of getting upset because during our winter time, it was kind of it was a warehouse job, but like retail behind the scenes, like shipping and receiving and all that kind of stuff. And he was mad that like, hey, like we need you here, we need more hours. And I told him, I was like, well, my wife had to get a part-time job at night. I have to leave because I got to go watch my 2 kids so that she can go to work. And I was like, but like, man, I'll work whatever hours you want. Like, if you want to give me a raise that's like a livable wage, I'll do that and I'll put in all the hours. And this is just why I have to share it and why it stuck with me.
Yeah.
All these years later, he told me, "You're not worth what we're paying you now."
Oh.
He told me that to my face.
Wow.
He said that to me to my face.
Wow.
And I was like, no, hell no. Like, he's gonna, I don't know if I want to say that he's gonna regret that, but I'm gonna show him what I'm worth.
Yeah.
And since I had signed up for the school, I was like, okay, like, I know that this is gonna be like the thing. And so, what the original plan was, the game plan was, is that I was still gonna work at my job and I was gonna do real estate part-time. So we fast forward a few months. So I ended up passing and getting my real estate license in December of 2013. And I remember the day, January 7th, 2014, I got let go from my job. So there's
that same guy.
From that same guy that told me that I'm not worth what I'm getting paid.
Wow.
So my wife kind of gave me a bit of I don't know if the right word is ultimatum, but basically it's like, hey, I'll give you like 60 days with this real estate thing to see if you can make it work. And if you do, like, cool. But like, if not, like, you've got to find another job, right? Like, you've got to provide for us and our 2 kids. So if you want to fast forward to my first deal, if you want to know if I got something under contract in 60 days, well, here we are almost 12 years later.
All right.
And so I was able to do that.
Wow. Okay. So how did you get your first deal in that 60 days?
I just, I did all of the kind of, well, if you've never done sales, or maybe it's weird for some people, maybe it's not, but it was uncomfortable for me to basically just go up. Like, I basically used Facebook and I just let everyone know, hey, I've got my real estate license. Hey, who wants to know what their home's worth? Hey, who's interested in buying? Who's interested in selling? And another cool thing is, like, our brokerage provided leads and stuff like that too. And so the very first person that I actually got was one of our company leads. And same thing. And people will probably laugh at like the price now, because I'll never forget the home. It was like $83,000 or $84,000, and it was like a 2-bedroom home out in like Tooele.
Wow.
Like, it was just like, but dude, I was stoked.
Yeah.
To get into the business and the industry, still just kind of fumbling my way through, but having someone trust or have enough faith in me that, cool, like, Mike will get this done.
Yeah.
And choosing to hire me. I don't think I realized it then, but like, even now, right, there's so many realtors, and great realtors, I'll even say, in the entire state, I don't take that lightly, that people choose or say that they want to work with me, because there's 19 or 20,000 other active realtors, and there's thousands and thousands of incredible realtors. And I'll even say, like, give them their flowers and say that there's probably a lot that are a lot better than me. So I was stoked. Yeah. I was able to get
awesome.
2 under contract within my first 60 days.
That's amazing.
So it was cool.
Congrats. So in that 60 days, because you were let go, were you treating it like a full-time job? Like, going into the office, making calls, prospecting, like, or were like you kind of, I don't know if working from home was really a thing back then, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing too, like, I remember like my first couple like weeks, because the thing is, like, with real estate, and depending on like where you go and the people that you surround yourself with, I was very fortunate that, like I said, my mom is the one that kind of set me up with our associate broker. But within that, because she was, she had so many like connections and stuff with other realtors, I kind of felt like I got watched over. I got babysat a little bit. And a lot of people gave me a lot of direction, which is what a realtor needs, right? They need a lot of guidance and stuff, because I didn't know what I was doing. and to kind of, what was I doing? I remember like my first week, I would go into the office, but I treated it like a 9 to 5. Like I kind of thought I was expected to be there from these hours to these hours, and that I was expected to be prospecting, and that my broker, like if you're not prospecting, right, like he's gonna come and be like, hey, you're not putting in the hours, right? And that's just not how it is. And so it took me even like a week and a half before I even realized, oh, I can come and go as I please.
Yeah.
And no, like I'm not,
I'm a business owner now.
yeah, like I'm not someone's problem to like babysit or like micromanage and make sure. But that's, going back to like the Facebook stuff, that's basically what I did. I was just like relentless, and I was, DMing everybody and, hey, do you want to buy or sell? Or, hey, do you know, like just,
So you were reaching out. So, and you're from Utah, so you have your friends and family to reach out to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. I would say I had a pretty solid SOI, and I don't think that I realized that until I kind of got the support that I did,
Mm-hmm.
like, that first year. For like, it took a little bit, but I think once, once you're just out there kind of, soliciting yourself, or, hey, like I'm showing homes, or like doing like whatever I was doing, um, it did create like curiosity, or like people reaching out, wanting to know what their home's worth, or, hey, I've thought about buying or selling, and just opening the doors and creating conversations and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, okay, you've been at the same brokerage since the very beginning then, right?
I never switched.
Never switched, which that's like unheard of. You're the second person. Actually, the other one was 18 years, never moved brokerage. I'm like, what? There's sometimes I've heard people moving brokerages 3 times in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like,
No, for real.
But I mean, there's so many different brokerages, so many different things to offer. So if you have found the right fit, it's working, like, but I know that some people, for their clients, they need to, make some changes, right? And their business. And that's the beauty of this business.
For sure.
So, okay. So at first, so your brokerage was providing leads to you. That was your first one. And then after so now you've, like, wife is like, okay, yes, you can do this. You did 2 in 60 days.
Let's put it on record, Tristan. My wife still to this day hates that I sell real estate because the pay is not consistent. So no, but yes.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
we're here.
You're a rock star in real estate.
I mean, I tell myself.
Yeah, you are. So, about how many do you think you did in like the first year?
I did 19 my first year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. But I guess if you did 2 in 60 days and then you were just like, heck yeah, this is awesome.
Some of the stuff that either real estate people or gurus or whatever say is like kind of falling in love with the process. But just going back to, even that associate broker that I went on that appointment with, the thing that I realized is like, I love the connection, and what real estate has done for me over these last almost 12 years is allowing me to reconnect with people. Like I've reconnected with a friend of mine, even just recently, who is a friend from junior high that just got their license and is going to come over, and I haven't seen them in 24 years.
That's crazy.
And it literally is, I'm a bit of a softie. Like, I'm an emotional guy. Like, it literally, seeing them after almost 24 years, like literally almost made me cry.
Yeah.
And so like the whole process, and like I said, just calling people and reaching out, and those people that were willing to have conversations with me, like it just reminded me of, what do we want to say? Like better times, or just fun times or experiences that I had with those people. And so like for me, it was so gratifying and satisfying, and it just makes me feel warm and fuzzy, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I love to connect with people, but it makes it so much more fun when people also want to connect with you kind of in the same way.
Yeah.
And the bonus is that I get paid to do it, and I help you find a home or sell your home or like whatever it is.
Right. Right. And because you've purchased that real estate does build wealth.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. So we still got 2 kids or we have more now?
So I have 3.
You have 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how is it like working? Because I know you actually bounced back from your Davis County office and the Sandy office.
Yeah.
So how do you balance everything? Because I'm sure the kids are, what, 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, 12, 11.
Yeah. So I've my youngest is 9, my middle is 12, and then my oldest is 15.
Okay. Wow. And then how do you like balance all of that? And then
I don't.
your business, you don't.
We don't.
No balance.
That's kind of a cool question to me too. In the way that things have just kind of shifted over the years. This might even almost like sound bad to like some agents, but what I've realized, I used to just like embrace the grind and even talk about just like real estate, like I know a lot of people go out and they create like goals, and more specifically like in real estate, realtors and stuff, and like some coaches, it's like, hey, I'm going to make this much money, I'm going to do this many units, right? And like writing out those goals. I used to do that personally, and I don't want to crap on anybody that does, but I've over the last couple of years thinking about my kids and some of the stuff that now that they're older and they're getting into a lot of activities, like I have a daughter that's a dancer, I have a son that thinks he's just like a superstar in every sport, and he wants to play football and baseball and basketball and hockey. Like he just wants to do everything. And what I've come to learn and what I've had to kind of embrace is I'm not out there trying to chase and like all these metrics and stuff like that. Because what I want to be able to have freedom. And that's one of the reasons why I got into real estate in the first place. And it wasn't necessarily financial freedom. It was freedom of time. But I think what I've had to learn over like the last, 10 plus years is that real estate doesn't actually give me freedom of time, but it does give me flexibility of time.
Yeah.
And what I can do is I can create my schedule, right? And so like when my daughter travels for dance, or, she's got these like midday like competitions or things like that, I have the ability that I can, push off appointments and, other systems and other things that I've created and put in place. I've got a small team as well. That affords me that flexibility to be able to do what I want when I want.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about your team. So you have a small team. Who does that consist of?
Am I supposed to drop names?
You can drop names. Yeah. We just can't say brokerage names.
No. Okay. Well, I won't even drop their names. What I do is, I've got just a group of guys, within our brokerage, and those are like just the best dudes and some of my favorite dudes to hang out with, talk business, because I think that we all try to kind of run our business and our personalities are the same way. So we just jive that way.
Okay.
Like we love to golf. Personalities are the same. Like they're some of the funnest dudes. One of them actually should be one that you get on your podcast. So maybe I will drop his name, Braden Slauson.
Okay.
So he's a top 500 realtor too. Absolute stud. One of my favorite people in the entire world. He used to actually be a lender too. So he's awesome.
Okay. Isn't that cool about this industry? You get to meet like pretty cool people. Like I'm sitting here with you. I never like met you before, but like I'm getting to learn all about your business, and like you're a really cool guy. That's the beauty of this industry. Like although you guys are competitors, it's also very collaborative, right?
Gosh, dude, I even hate that you're saying that it's competitive. One thing about being where I am is one of the reasons why I've stayed there. I've heard some things, and I'm not going to bash on anybody and say that they are competitive. But I truly believe, like, if I really wanted to like grind, and I hate that word too, but like if I wanted to go and I wanted to close 300 transactions, I don't feel like somebody out there is like wrestling or like competing with my potential buyers and sellers. Like the opportunity that you want is out there, and you can get however much in whatever business that you want. I fully believe that.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Completely. Yep. Absolutely.
Good.
I feel like with like it, it is just it is a beautiful industry because you get to build your business how you want, and you get to, um, you get to either hang out with other realtors and collaborate and brainstorm together and get to know each other, right? And make like the best of friends. Or you can kind of be like your lone wolf and kind of do your own thing and not talk to anyone, and it's like feast or fam, and it's like, um, you're mean to other agents, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Well, even just going back to like that friend I was telling you that I haven't seen since junior high that's coming over. I don't view that person as competition to me, even though they're, we do have a lot of mutual friends that they may elect to use them over me. I just don't, I still don't see it that way.
yeah,
And that's fine because, the way that I see it is like anytime that maybe someone decides not to use me or use someone else or whatever, all that's done is that's eliminated that time that I would spend off my plate and eliminated that as a potential opportunity for me.
mm,
And I don't see that as a bad thing because then all I'm going to do is I'm just not going to spend time maybe like prospecting or like soliciting that person.
right.
So I can be like, cool, I'm not going to go after Tristan anymore. So I'll go find somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's just how I view it. And that's why I don't see it as being ultra competitive or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay, so the team that you have, is this not like a traditional team where you have like buyers agents and TC? Do you have a
No.
TC?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, so my wife is actually, I guess you could say, on my team, but she's my TC as well.
Okay. Awesome.
So, and that's the way that I kind of view the team and the dynamic. I don't have a lot of maybe the formalities and like the roles that maybe a lot of other teams have, because I want the agents on my team to be like just rock stars all the way around and feel like they have the information. So the way that I just train my team is more just being able to be, like I said, a well-rounded agent. Like it's not buying agents, it's not listing agents. Like no one's specialized.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like the resource to be able to
So if they have
fall back on.
questions and anything like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're an associate broker or a principal?
Well, so associate, but I recently took over and I'm the branch broker over our Davis County branch.
Okay. And how did that come about? Like, is that something you wanted? Is that something that's kind of happened?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So the previous branch broker decided to leave, and it just kind of made sense to our principal broker to have me slide in because, I mean, like you said, it's kind of funny that I do come out to Sandy because that office is truly like 2 minutes from my house. But I love the people, and most of my team is out here too.
Okay.
But that just kind of happened because it kind of made sense. We didn't really have any other associate brokers up in that area. And, my principal broker knows, and I've obviously been with the company long enough that he's like, I think it just makes sense for us to slide you in.
Okay. Very cool. And how's it been going? How long ago was that?
That was actually just in October. So
Oh,
fairly
really?
recent.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. It's fun, cause that's even what shifted in my mindset a little bit too, as far as, talking about like doing deals. I don't know if I want to say that my focus has shifted more over to, agent training and like development, but I do want to create rock star agents, and I do want to create a brand and a team that it's just like undisputed that like we're like the best at like what we do.
Yeah. You guys are all thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how does one become a top 500 agent? Because like you mentioned, there are thousands in Utah, thousands. And how do you become one of the top 500? Like what has brought you here? Like everyone's journey is different. What do you think has brought you here?
A lot of agents I think are going to give the same answer. Like that's That's such a loaded question. And I think there's so much more depth and there's so many layers, I think, to that question. I would say like kind of the overarching like theme though that a lot of people are probably going to say is just like valuing your relationships. And just like you said, like I don't take for granted or take it lightly when someone I meet somebody um and they tell me, or I know that they're going to use me as their agent, because like I said, there are thousands, there's tens of thousands of agents like in our state that they can choose from, but like the chances are that they come down and then they meet me are slim to none.
Mm.
And I think that the perspective that I put it in is even tomorrow, right? Like, you could still have a client that calls you tomorrow and is like, "Hey Tristan, sorry, but I think you suck. I'm going to go work with someone else."
Mm.
So I just kind of feel like I always have that perspective that it really is special. It doesn't matter if it's been a friend or a family member or someone that you've known like your whole life, like choosing to use you. You know, we know working in the industry that this is a purchase, if not the biggest purchase that people are going to make in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are only going to make this decision once in their lifetime to buy a home. And that's a big deal.
It is. It's a
right?
huge
Like
deal.
if you are the singular agent that they only work with, or even if you're this only and singular agent and they buy 9 or 10 times or 9 or 10 properties, right? Like it's not something to be taken lightly, at least to me. And that's just how I feel. So like the relationship that I have, and it's value too, right? Because we also, it's been said, or there's studies or whatever, like shadiest or slimiest industries of like realtors seem to be creeping in there. I want to change that, and I want to change the way that home buying and selling should be, because another thing that I do is it's exciting. It's exciting to buy like a home, or to buy an investment property or vacation, like whatever you're buying or selling. And so it should be a fun and enjoyable and exciting experience to be able to do that. And that's something that I think I also try to impress upon like my buyers and sellers, and also try and teach and train my agents.
I love that. I can tell you're very grateful.
I have to be.
Yeah. I can.
Right. I mean, it's what, I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's what makes me tick now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what has kept me in this industry for as long as it has, is, like, it's so rad to have someone. Can I even share just I'll try and make it a quick story.
Yeah, of course.
So, I try to do a lot of like client events, and I try and stay in contact with a lot of like my past clients and stuff like that. Mailers, like I said, like events, emails and stuff, right? Lots of touches and stuff like that. So I had a client, I helped them. They built a home a few years ago, and I've tried to reach out to them, text, emails, and client events and all that kind of stuff. And they haven't responded. And like, that's totally fine. Not a big deal. But literally, like, I think it was 2 weeks ago, the husband texted me and was like, "Hey, can you hop on a quick call?" Sure. Call him up. He's like, "Hey, so we already walked through like a bunch of homes. We found a home that we love. We want to write this one up, but can we put you down as our agent?" I haven't showed them a home. I haven't even talked to him since they bought their home, because like they've never responded to like my emails and like or calls and things like that. But the fact that he's just like, basically like, "You're our guy."
Yeah.
Even though we haven't talked in 2 or 3 years, "Hey, like, help us buy this house again."
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, that's like the most like 1 in a billion, chance or opportunities, but it's cool. And at least to me, like, it makes me feel good, because even though there's been like zero communication
on their end.
Yeah.
You've reached out.
Well, yeah, but I still like I would have been none the wiser if they would have just called Joe Blow down the street to help them buy this place.
Yeah, you would have known.
And I'd have no idea.
Yeah, that's pretty rad.
So it's way rad.
Yeah.
It's super rad.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I wanted to talk about marketing and how you stay in front of your clients. After 12 years,
yeah,
then I'm sure you've had repeat and referrals
Yeah.
from past clients and family and friends. So you did say you love to do client events. Is this through your brokerage?
Yeah.
Yeah. And because I just think there's so much value in client events, honestly.
Yeah.
I
do
just
too.
it creates memories for your for families, right? And experiences which are priceless. And you're reaching out to them with something of value. And you're saying you have mailers and like all of the it sounds like you do like actually like almost all of them, all of the marketing pieces. So you're on social media.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome that you're like,
I always feel like there's more, but
you feel like there's more.
well, I always feel like there's more that I could or should be doing, but
Yeah.
I think that that's one thing, you know, going back to just like the value of like clients and stuff though too. And sorry for any of my clients that listen to this, but really like almost all of my past clients are on like my list, but realizing like what that, like, I mean, that's just, it's a pot of gold, right? And I try to heavily market to those people that have trusted me before, because I'd like to think, or I would say I'm fairly certain that I've done a good enough job that there's no reason that they're going to call me again, right? Like I kind of expect it,
Yeah.
but staying in front of them and staying top of mind is the goal of all of that
Okay.
to me.
I love that. How many client events do you have a year?
We do one a quarter.
One a quarter.
So 4.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. What are some of the like client events that you do?
So we just did, the first one that we did earlier this year was classic skating.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, that was cool. Some of the kids go buck wild for that, so that's pretty cool. And then we did a movie event a few weeks ago.
Okay. At a theater?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we just rent out the theater, and then we give like gift cards and stuff like that for them to get snacks and treats and stuff. And then we've talked about doing a bees game this year. And then we're probably going to combine this year doing like Santa and like pumpkin pies.
Oh, very cool.
So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. And I think it's so valuable, and it's a reason to connect, like reconnect, you know, and if you're not talking to them every single day, like they're not your best friend or your mom, you know, like it's not normal that you do talk to somebody every single day. So it's just a great way to connect.
Well, I think one of the biggest things that I think about like retaining clients and relationships though is, you know, you might have helped and you might have been the catalyst to help them get into that home and stuff. But again, the importance of having like ongoing relationships to me is, and what I try to do is the value needs to continue.
Right.
And the thing is, it's just simple things that you can do. And it's doing those client events, giving them information like in email or mailers and things like that. And then just like the simple connection, like, because, you know, a lot of my past clients, they turn into friends, and I'm not saying I'm hanging out with them every weekend and stuff, but, oh, sorry, excuse me. I love reconnecting with people and just feeling like we just left off from like the buying or selling experience, especially when they come back to me again.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so are you creating these mailers and emails, or do you have a team that like a marketing team at your brokerage that does that? Or
we don't have a marketing team. I've got like a third party company that kind of helps do that.
Okay.
I did currently like my mailers I do through like a real estate coach, a pretty popular real estate coach. They basically design all the information, then they just mail me out like a box of like all the stuff, and
Oh, that's cool.
get that out to my clients.
Yeah. I just feel like you said earlier you have like systems and processes in place. And I think that's like one of the biggest things that you could do for yourself and your business, and that probably gives you more time, right, with your family, and the ability to like go to dances and sports and things because you have systems and processes in place.
You keep hitting on like keywords for me that are like trigger keywords.
Uh-oh.
So the one that you said is time. That's all I ever want. And we kind of talked about it earlier, right, with like freedom, and changing that word into flexibility. But time is all I want. Time is all I want back. So figuring out ways to leverage yourself and, sitting there for 2 or 3 hours a day or a week or however much time you spend into like social media or mailers and stuff, how much more valuable is it if you add up those hours that you spend in like maybe a week, a
Mhm.
month, or a year, if you just simply paid the money
Yeah,
so that you can go find new business or create and cultivate
I am
your past relationships.
100%.
And so I'm not saying like for the brand new agent, right? Like that may not be like the move, but I think where I'm at now, right? Like I've got enough stability and I think I've got enough like business and things rolling that
How
it,
long do
it
you think
makes
it
sense.
did it take you to get there? Like in this spot where like and I'm kind of assuming, but like things seem to be kind of moving smoothly. Like how like your business it's down, you got everything going. How long do you think it took you to like get to this space?
That's kind of a loaded question too, because just kind of like what I said is well, I don't think maybe I said this, but I'm never closing enough business. I've never made enough money. Um, I think just knowing when is when you feel that you're in a spot where you can do that, or where you feel like you're burnt out, or you've over leveraged your time, right? But there's simple things throughout your career that you'll learn and understand to like utilize, and simple things like, we talked about like TCs earlier. My first 5 or 6 years, I didn't even know what a TC was.
Oh, wow.
And then when I finally got one, my production that next year, I think I literally doubled almost what I did,
Insane.
just because I wasn't spending, my 5, 10 or whatever plus hours a week handling addendums and paperwork and communicating with title, right? Like I finally just had someone that was handling that side of things for me.
Yeah.
So it's the simple things that start adding up and that you don't realize that it's just like, dude, hell yeah, like I'll pay a TC, like don't let me
Yeah. And that's
get me
just
out
like
of the
one of the
paperwork.
things, it's like when you get to that point, just like writing down what are some tasks that like I can hand out, right? Like I can't, my clients want to work with me, so I need to go show them homes, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not going to get a buyer specialist because to me that's important to be able to go and be with my clients.
Yeah.
So like, but what are some things that can be done? TC is one of them, just like for the majority, I mean, majority of real estate agents, they're not like, I don't know if you know the disc, but they're not like high C's, right? Where
Yeah.
like compliance and paperwork is like
Yeah.
their thing, right? Leave it to the people that's what they do. That's what they
Yeah.
know, like, and all day long, right? And
Right.
then use that time that you have now to be doing money making activities,
Yeah.
going out and getting the new business, going out and prospecting, reconnecting with people. So I just think genius.
Yeah, I would singularly say to like focus, if you're an agent and you're getting to that point where you feel like you're just burnt out and you're doing your own paperwork, a TC is like the first thing I think that you should do. And I think that you'd be surprised, especially if you're producing a relative amount of business. If you're if you can average anywhere from 2+ transactions a month, I think you'd be shocked at how much time you can get back just hiring a TC.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is like the first one for sure.
I agree. Very cool. Okay, so let's talk about some of your like future goals. Since October, it's almost been a year now. You kind of have like a lot more responsibility in this broker role. Like what are some of your like 1 year, 5 year, 10 year goals? It could be personal or business or both.
Sure. Um, man, there's a lot of ideas and things like that come to mind. But like I said, where I've kind of stopped writing down my goals. I think the reason why I did that is sometimes stumbling when I have like the bar set and I don't reach that bar. Um, I don't know. It kind of made me feel I was upset with myself for not reaching that goal.
Mm.
And so I like to try and I use the word like fluid and flexible a lot with my business, my day to day. and just prioritizing things, like I still make lists and like I said, like with prioritizing and things like that. But when I think about like my goals, like for 1 in 5 years, my biggest thing that I want to do is I would love to, this is probably more like a 5 year. I'd like to step more out in production and focus more heavily on agent development. Um, and my other thing, just kind of like what I mentioned earlier, it's value. What value am I adding to obviously the agents that we have in our office, but also to our clientele? So like another thing, I mean, it's kind of smaller, but like we're working on like property management.
Okay.
So property
Yeah,
management
I
for
did
like,
see that. I wanted to ask you about that. Okay.
yeah. So like, I would say like for my 1 year
Is that with
goal,
the brokerage or is that just like you?
so I'm trying to roll it out so that our brokerage has that. And that's something that we advertise and that we,
Offer. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Very cool.
Yeah. So I guess if we want to talk about 1 year goals, it's getting property management and being able to show that our brokerage on top of the other services that we offer is property management. My 5 year goal would probably, like I said, be getting like more slowly out of production. I think I don't know if I want to say I've done that completely. What I would say is I'm not going out and trying to super actively and aggressively pursue like new business and things like that the way that I did. And I work mostly on just referral basis.
Okay.
So continuing that, but like I said, maybe slightly stepping out and then more just like I said, agent development and just growing what I've got.
Okay. If you could go back and give little agent Michael advice, your new agent self, what advice would you give yourself?
Oh. If I did it all over again, because if I was a brand new agent, but I'll kind of make it relative to like this market. If I was a brand new agent starting all over again, or the advice I'd give myself, it'd probably be to join a team first. I think it took me a few years before I got more structure, but also realized the tools out there that are available to agents, coaching, mentoring. Like I didn't even know about coaching and really mentoring until I was 5 or 6 years in the business.
Wow.
Like that's where I feel like I found my first mentor. It wasn't until then.
Okay.
And that's where kind of like the goalkeeping and then like bringing in the TC and all those kind of things that I realized like, holy cow, there's like an unreal amount of information out there, but I just haven't been talking to the right people or asking the right questions. So I think that if I'm a brand new agent and I'm not exactly sure, I'd say find a good team and find structure so that you can build good habits and understand like what it takes to build a business. Cause I think that, I mean, you brought it up, but at least when I first started, I don't think that, I knew that I started a business or whatever, that I had a business, but I don't think that I operated it or quite treated it like a business. If that makes
No, that makes sense.
any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like you were a business owner, but you weren't really treating it that way as such yet. Because it's like you weren't. I mean, you were young too. So it's like almost, and it's like this new role. It's like this new, you're used to being talked down to by other people. Like,
tell me what to do.
Yeah. And it's kind of wild, like when you get to be in this position, right? And then you get to run your own life.
Well, especially like someone like me where because I'd never owned a business, I didn't have parents or a lot of friends or family that had their own business. I didn't really know what I was stepping into.
Exactly.
And I didn't know what it really took to run a business.
Yeah.
Or what it entails. Or like, even like, I remember the first couple months, like even just getting like my licenses, like my licensing and everything like set up. It's like, dude, I'm like shelling out money. Like this feels like a pyramid scheme. Like I haven't even made money, but having to pay like my dues and like all this kind of stuff, or like my licensing with like the division. I'm like, what is going on? Like,
yeah,
I'm like $2 or $3 deep and I haven't even like sold anything. So it's a little nerve wracking.
Well, I love that advice you gave. I think it's probably one of the best pieces of advice that I've heard, honestly, on the show. So, yes. I really think that I'm a big advocate for joining a team, especially there's all kinds of different teams out there. But I think for the structure, for you were like nailing all the things of why I think being on a team, it's the structure, it's hearing the conversations that are going around. Like you weren't you weren't around the right people at that time. You weren't asking the right questions. So it's like just I think being around it is what's gonna have you learn the most.
Well, I'd be lying too if one of the reasons I got into real estate wasn't for money. I mean, I feel like whether people want to admit it or not, that is a big reason why. And I think the reason why I would think that a lot of people don't want to instantly join a team though is because of the splits and things like that, right? So they're looking at a $300,000 house and it's a $9,000 commission. And if it's a 50-50 split, they're like, well, they're getting $4,500 and I'm only getting $4,500. Dude, that sucks. But you're really overlooking a lot of the value that hopefully your team or team lead is giving you. And I don't think a lot of people realize that until after they maybe leave a team and realize like, oh, I don't have any leads, or, oh, I have to pay for like my own TC, like photos, signs, like lock boxes, like that a lot of teams just, hey, if you're on the team, like this is just kind of why you have maybe this split. And this is why we have that. And so, again, I didn't even know that teams were like a thing when I first started, but I think that all it would have done is just, I did a lot of like baptism by fire, and I'm fine with like how I did it. But if I was to do it all over again, that's why I would suggest
That's what you would do.
a team, just because I think that gives you like, that creates like a vision or like in a path for you on how to build your business rather than just like the blind leading the blind.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Okay, and then we're running out of time here, but where can people follow you?
I think all of my handles are like basically the same. So like Instagram is homeauthentic.co. Facebook is just Facebook and then Home Authentic. I think I've got my TikTok's the same, homeauthentic.co.
You're on TikTok?
It's not that cool.
Okay, well, mine's not either, but I'm like, maybe I'll go look at you. Are you screaming on there?
I might add one for you, Tristan. I might add one.
Yeah, I want to go look. Okay, well, I appreciate you coming on the show. It's been awesome getting to know you, and I appreciate you sharing all your valuable insights and like advice that you've shared. And yeah, thanks for joining.
Awesome. Thanks, Tristan. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please rate us, like us, and share this podcast with our real estate community. The Nova Show Real Estate Record, sharing raw stories of real estate, failures, lessons, wins, and successes. This is all from Novation Title, bringing a different experience into your world so that we can all uplift each other. Until next time.